Alright. Alright, back with another drawing stream for Brian. Today I'm going to be working on some of the line drawing, hopefully get started on coloring. But in terms of the actual coloring techniques, I might have to take a look at those before I continue on. Yeah. I'm going to assume that no one's really watching this, so I'll just do it as I feel. Oh, okay, so I don't have any layers for line art yet. I think I'm going to start off with this guy, Yelling Line. Listening in on one of Taishi's streams again, Kamishiro Taishi. He's still doing his workathon. I think I might have mentioned it last time, so that he can catch up on work. Okay. And also my roommate's back from going back home. I'll probably have the fan going on so that I can drown out some of the noise, because it's pretty easy for us to hear each other, and I don't want to bother him. Alright. So last night, someone else in the lab who just graduated, he's going to be going to another school for grad school. This is maybe one of the last times I get to hang out with him, until, I guess, whenever we end up in the same area at the same time in the future. He introduced us to Office Space, the movie, and then Shaun of the Dead, because I haven't seen either of them before. I think between the two, I probably preferred Office Space because it was a bit less action, I guess. A bit more wittiness in terms of the dialogue and writing. It's definitely kind of apparently one of those fuck the establishment movies from back in the late 90s. I think it's probably after The Office that I actually liked movies like that. Because originally when I first watched some of the episodes of The Office, it did not really speak to me. And most people probably know the pain of trying to get through that first episode, or the first few episodes. Because Michael Scott's character was not exactly a very good person. Not sure how that kind of TV would fly in these days. Probably, yeah, it'd probably have its share of probably a good share of critics. Oh. So I know that there's some ways of making line art a bit easier to do, but I'm really not sure how that would work. Because with the sketchy lines, you can just get the general shape, right? But then when you're actually doing the line art, I kind of want it to be cleaner. And I think I did find something online, or at least a link or so, that explained it, but that's gonna require some more studying. Yeah, and Shaun of the Dead was still good, I think. Although I think it's probably a type of movie where you have to evaluate it based on the time frame that was made. So it came out in 2004, and I think a lot of tropes for comedy have changed in the past couple decades. So if you're very used to current styles of comedy movies, can be a bit jarring, I'd say. So the friend actually brought this in a three movie box set. I had what? Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and World's End. I haven't watched World's End yet, but Hot Fuzz. Yeah, I think it's probably easier if you know what you're expecting going into that movie. It's not exactly the most like action-packed movie. I don't quite know how I'm gonna do this. Maybe just so what I'm trying to get right now is like an after image style thing. So I think just having a bit of a lighter color might work. At least for this amateur work. Okay, let's see. What color is he? Let's go to the GIF, and there we go. Hmm. Could you open another tab? Let me check. Let's see. Okay, so another tab in Photoshop. Open second tab. Photoshop. Window arrange, new file. New window for file. Okay. Window range. Oh, okay. New window. New window. How do I make a separate window? Oh, a second window for the original document. Okay. So if I do this, there should be a second. Which I guess I can probably open. Okay. Let's try it out. Open this in Photoshop. Okay, let's hope that works. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Alright, so as I said last time, this is kind of the... Oh, wait, just... Oh shit, okay, it just opens it up like this. Okay, that's good. Alright, let's see. Okay, I know the dropper tool can get color, so you can see how it picks up that color, although I don't think I can get this kind of shading here. Alright, so this is pretty much... Oh gosh, that looks gross. Maybe it'd be okay if I... Oh yeah, that looks kind of gross. It's because I have the yelling line still here. Oh, jeez, okay. Let me see if I full screen it, if the lines look a little bit better. Oh god, the lines do not look better. Oh god. Alright, steady hands, I think. I need steadier hands. Or maybe, I don't think Brian would mind it. Oh, that's so sad. Oh man. Yeah, I need to learn how to do line art a bit better. Okay, so in that case, I'll just continue on. Grab some more droppers. Yeah, that should be okay-ish. Yeah. Oh, okay, so one effect I could possibly do is just a bunch of, instead of having the wishies, I could have like small after images one after another. Okay, I'll continue on like this, and then we will see after that. Oh, wait, I forgot. Oh, shoot. Okay, so apparently I forgot the line art for the inside of his mouth. Okay, so... Oh, and I need to select that layer. Okay. So it's gonna kind of curve inwards from here, and then there's the tongue here. So I think maybe getting the tongue in first would be good. So tongue, oh, hello, okay, there you go. Opacity is a bit too strong. Okay, let's work with this. Oh, it's because the, oh yeah, it's just that opacity. Okay, yeah, so the tongue is kind of out here. How does this tongue work? Jeez. Oh, also I think it's because this is a bit too thick. Okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, yep, that works. Okay, so I'll use that as the line art. I'm currently going to school around the SoCal area, and I've been here for about 3 years already. And this weekend was the first time I actually went to LA. It's kind of a drive there. Not really a quick trip or anything. It was, I mean, it was kind of like any other city I've seen before, honestly. It wasn't anything like really special, at least in the parts that I saw, which was not like the downtown area. Okay, so maybe I can grab this color here. Yeah, but it was a fun trip. Otherwise, oh shoot, no. Should be in here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I can do those. So I at least got to try out some Armenian food at Rafi's. That's Raffi, and Rafi's is dang good. I've had kebabs before, whether it was like a Mediterranean place or some other place around SoCal, but I really have to say that food was really good. Well, don't really. It's one of those things where it's harder to explain it. I think it was mostly like the spices that they used were just really solid. Oh crap. Wait. Oh yeah, the back of the mouth is this color. Okay. And then the bottom is slightly darker, but no. No. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so the spices that I had in the rice was really good. Because that kind of like saffron rice can be pretty dang expensive, but even then, um, most of the time it doesn't really have an actual like saffron flavor to it, which is a bit disappointing. Although the Raffi's one was like, yeah, you could really taste some flavor to it. I don't really know what saffron actually tastes like, but I mean, it was distinctive enough where if you try it against other saffron rice at like the usual places like a Halal Guys or something, it was really, really good. But I think the shining part was the fact that they served Thai basil with everything. So just like a Korean sam, where you wrap your like barbecue meat inside of either like perilla leaves or lettuce. Um, the oh wait, shoot, voice might be a bit too high. Sorry about that. Didn't notice before. Okay, hopefully, nope. Testing, testing. Okay, that should be better. Um, yeah, so they have the pita bread, so you could grab some of the filet mignon, grab some of the pepper, onion, wrap it in that pita, and then add a Thai basil leaf on top, and it was absolutely incredible. The additional flavor that the basil added really, really complemented the meat's flavor as well, and I really appreciated that. Okay, next I will maybe I'll tackle the oysters. Oh, and the chicken. Okay. Alright, so let me try opening that too. Okay, so the oysters would probably be the easier part to start at. Yeah. So let me see if I can. Is this one right? Nope, that's not the right one. Okay. 2989. Okay. Yeah, so these are the oysters that Brian and I would eat. They used to be $1, but now they're $1.50 for a happy hour. Yeah, so I wasn't able to stay in LA for much longer than that, because just getting up there, it took half of my battery life, which is way more than I was expecting originally. And fortunately for my car, the electronics for the charging, like the charging outlets, is broken, so I'm not able to use them. So I just checked my battery at once I got there, and it was at like 50% already. I still need to take pictures for my parents of like the stuff that I saw. So that was incredibly unfortunate. Incredibly unfortunate. Okay, so so it looks like my sketches were not exactly the best shaped. I think a lot of the line art will have to take precedence on forming the actual outline. Maybe I was rushing. Yeah. Yeah, so after I ended up getting the Rafi's Armenian food, um, we headed for some coffee, and that was pretty much all the time we had time for. I mean, that's all the activities we had time for before my battery was about to die. Thankfully, I was able to like get onto a highway that I actually knew. Okay, I'm just gonna, guess my way through this. And then I'll use the like high school cliff making lines to get the contours of the rest of the shell. Yeah, hopefully it comes out properly. So like you can see how like at certain ridges, there will be lines following down into the shell a bit. Not so much for these compared to like cliff sides, but I think I'll try running with the idea just to make my life a bit easier with the experience I have. So I'll follow this as a cliff, follow this, maybe, because this is kind of curved, maybe leave that alone. Yeah, maybe just the edges I'll follow. Okay. Yeah, so I'll do that. Here. Okay, I think that should be fine. I'll connect this a bit below. Alright. And the second one has more ridges, or more long ridges. So, and then small ones up here. Okay. One, two, okay. Alright. Yep. Okay. That window. This one's going to be a bit more difficult because unlike this one where it's like very thin edged on the sides, on the like front side, maybe a bit of white here, you can see how over here there's like a bunch of like white space that follows the shell. So I'll have to try to maybe avoid that for now. Okay, yeah, I'll follow up here. Okay. Okay, wish I could raise a tiny bit up here. Okay, awesome. So jumping to yet another topic, I got a couple sour beers recently from Total Wine. One of them is called Mama's Peaches, and then the other one is Almagnac Apricot. What was it? Apricot Supernova. I can definitely say that I prefer the Supernova. So sour beers are pretty often like some kind of citrus juice based drink, and then what differentiates these two is I guess the amount of flavor. So I'm not the best at tasting alcohol, but these ones were ones where you can really tell which one's the better one, I would say. So like the Mama's Peaches I think was not as great because like the idea of having a peach flavor in a drink, it's either you get the like white peach style, maybe like Japanese drinks, Japanese Kabiko white peach, or you go with the kind of like filling dessert style, maybe like a peach cobbler, right? So the thing about the Mama's peaches was that you could taste the peach, but the issue is the cobbler part of that flavor profile was not there. So you can think of it as like you're eating the crust of the pie or the cobbler, where there's a bit less of a concentrated peach flavor versus if you have like the Almanac Apricot Supernova, where you can actually really taste the like the apricot, I guess. Um, like it was definitely the more like filling type of amount of flavor to it. Although it took a different direction where, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure apricots are generally all more sour than peaches. Um, so this one was like almost eating, it was almost like the taste profile of a Smartie. Like, it had the tartness of a Smartie. That was pretty jarring, I would say. Like, when things taste like candy, it can either go really well or really badly. One case where I honestly think it goes badly is if you eat raw jackfruit. So like jackfruit is that fruit where it's very big, it's very meaty, and so people make imitation pulled pork with it. But when I tasted the raw kind, it just tasted like if you've ever had runts, it tasted like the artificial banana flavor of runts. Like it's fine in runts, right? Because you're expecting that kind of like artificial flavor. But when you're eating an actual like fresh fruit, and that's what you get, like the overpowering sweetness, it just really doesn't sit well with me. And I'm already not a sweets person in the first place, so it's in some ways even worse. Now I do kind of wish I was a sweets person at some points, because like it seems nice to have a side of food where like you almost have a second stomach for it. Oh god, how do you make this texture? Okay, I'm gonna roll with that. And then alright, Kamishiro Taishi just finished his stenography stream, so he's probably gonna open back up to the working stream. It's already over 2 weeks now. In his second week of just straight up work right now. I don't think I could do that myself. Mad respect. Okay, so I'll finish up the plate on the bottom. I'll see how the colors turn out when I do the fill. Oh, that's a bad curve. Nope. It's gonna come over. Oh, peek out right here. Nope. There. Maybe the trick to line art is just making the strokes a bit faster so you get less shakiness. Okay. Next is the chicken. Oh, oops. Close that Photoshop. Well, that was a gaff. Okay, open up. Oop, nope. Wrong file. This one. Okay, there we go. And then open up this. Alright, awesome. Okay, this is probably going to be the hardest thing to draw because there's so many lines in here. So I'll keep the bowl simple. I don't think I'll include the spoon. And I will hope for the best for the line art. Geez. Okay. Alright, so let's start with the bowl. Oh, so close. One really nice thing that happened this weekend is on work. So when you're in the lab for research, depending on the lab, how many members it has, how far in the career that your advisor is, other things like that, the amount of attention that you end up getting from your advisor can change pretty drastically. Well, also on like the advisor's interest on the project or stuff like that, or yeah, because they're on tight time schedules too. Like they have tons of stuff that they have to do, especially if they have to write their grants and all that finance stuff themselves. One really nice thing about our professor is that even though he calls himself hands-off, he is definitely a hands-on type of professor. Whenever we actually need help, we can reach out to him and he will find some time. Now, the issue is that because he's only one person still, sometimes you will have to wait for his help on like actually thinking deeply personally on certain projects. So like working some math out himself, stuff like that. And he's been pretty busy with another paper recently. Well, when I say recently, I mean like the past half year or so. So sometimes the projects, like my own projects, progress can be a bit dependent on him, just due to the nature of how difficult the project is. So just 2 days ago, he made a post, which is a very good sign. So we have a forum where we like post stuff. And whenever he posts, it's either something very eye-opening or it's something to explore. And I think this is the type of post where it can be a bit of both. So because of that, I do have a flight on Saturday, but for the rest of the week, that's probably going to be what I'm focusing on. So like taking a look at the idea that he gave and trying to parse through it. Okay, maybe I'll sneak in that pepper slightly underneath. Yeah, but yeah, that's another thing about research. It's always very open-ended whether or not you'll make much progress, which can be sometimes demoralizing. But it's something that you have to end up learning. Like, I think that some of the like mental health struggles that can appear in grad school are due to the open-ended nature of research. So one thing that I would say to anyone who is planning on going into grad school, let alone the ideas of getting into undergrad schools, is that you do want to make sure that your expectations are in the right place, which always, again, depends on what you're doing. So the professor that you're working with as well, whether or not the discovery process will be joint and you'll be able to more comfortably acclimate yourself to the level of detail and previous research that's been done in your field. Yeah, and just the topic that you're studying in the first place. So like, yeah, there was a awards night dinner for my department not too long ago, and there was a Nobel laureate who came to speak, and sorry, my friend's calling. Oh, it might be Brian asking for boba. That's another thing. Coming to the West Coast, calling it boba now. Okay, so yeah, the Nobel laureate was talking to us about some of the research that he's been doing in his lab, and one of the stories that he told was like this grad student who came in and found this like eureka moment and was able to speak on terms with the Nobel laureate professor, which I don't think I can do right now. That's not the kind of thing that I could do because this shit is complicated. The stuff that I'm working with is complicated stuff. Well, not saying that the experimental work that they were working on is complicated. It isn't complicated. Like the idea that they got when I heard it was like it blew my mind how a grad student was able to figure that out. Um, Maybe it's like I guess it's kind of like the amount of background information or like previous research has a higher hurdle for my work because again my work is all theory, so it's kind of like the transition you make from math that actually has numbers to only variables where it's all letters and symbols and stuff, um, where you have to have this like very deep background. I think is probably a deeper background than it would be for experimental, or maybe just the type of critical thinking requires some more like legacy knowledge. So pretty often what will happen is like I'll be looking into something and most of the papers that I would look at are like from the 2000s or 2010s. And then my professor will come along and he'll point out a clue in a paper from like 1930. And it's that kind of experience and that amount of reading where there can sometimes be like a disconnect between the modern landscape of papers versus like some of the more quote unquote basic parts of our field. Oh, okay. So because Brian wants boba. All right. Yeah. So a lot of the knowledge that I need is still kind of stuff that I need to look into a bit more. Let's see. How do I see the chat? Man. This dish is called Kolshuiji, which means mouth-watering chicken. And God, is it mouth-watering. Oh my god. So freaking good. Yeah, so pretty much what I have to do a lot more in order to like actually survive in this field is to read a lot more papers. And there's a lot of like abstract math in them as well. So I'm gonna have to learn that math along with the rest of my like exploratory work in what I'm doing right now. Oh, that's what's happening. Okay. Alright. So I'll draw this thing here. Okay, so I say in the description that... Oh, 6 p.m.? Okay, sounds good. Right. He's going to the gym right now? Alright. Yeah, so I guess I'll just continue like working on what I can for my project, and then whenever Philip is done with his main task right now, I think that's when we're gonna like blow through the rest of the project, or the current state of the project, and then we'll get a paper out that I've been waiting on for 3 years. It'll be glorious. So nerdy, but glorious. Yeah, right now I've only had one paper published in my lifetime, which is kind of sad. Like if I was trying to find like internship opportunities or something, I'm pretty sure that would be a big weak point of my resume. But gotta deal with what we have. Just gotta deal with it. Yeah, again, it's like the publish or die mentality of a lot of research labs. That's not the way that my advisor does it. He's very much he will not let something go out published with his name on it unless he is very sure of it. Not to say that we can't like add like what are they called, addendums to fix any mistakes that we make in math or something, but considering this paper, if you like end up looking at it, it's all math. Having some bad math in there could be a very bad scenario. It would mean that the theory that we're working on doesn't actually work. Which, I mean, it might not in the first place unless we actually test it out, but testing it out is still slightly a long way off. Wait, why am I referencing the photo? Just add sesame seeds everywhere. Okay, so what else to talk about? So I've been teaching Brian dancing, and yesterday what we did was Actually, we actually went to this restaurant that serves this chicken on Friday, and I told him that any song that he chooses, I can probably choreograph to it really quick. And he chose Thomas Rhett's, what was it? Shoot, what was it called? It had something to do with the heart. Thomas Rhett's heart? Oh yeah, I should be searching on YouTube. That's Thomas Rhett. Die a Happy Man. It's a country song, so it's a lot of acoustic, and I ended up waking up kind of late yesterday, so I made the choreo in about 30 minutes. And it was possibly the best that he's done at one of the choreos that I've taught him before. So I've taught him some like hip hop stuff, and then as for choreos, it's mostly been K-pop. There was Hello by SHINee. I tried teaching a bit of Wedding Dress by Taeyang, but turns out I never learned the second part of it properly. Like after getting dance experience, it was all in like 8th grade and stuff. So that didn't work out. But at least the Thomas Rhett one, we were able to do, and it was the best he's done at a choreo. Either because it was an easier choreo or because it was one that I made and taught, and I like actually understood all the moves properly. Okay, so Bobo line art. Guess I'll start with a straw because I'm already here. Oh, and the last one that we learned was Thanks by 17, because I've performed that before with an old group. And I don't think as many people as I thought know about that song. It's kind of like a thank you song to the fans. But it was also my last semester of undergrad, so it was very heartfelt. Like I still remember at the like goodbye party for all the seniors, or the well, not really seniors, the graduating people. I was able to hold in my tears very easily, while a lot of other people were not. But then, right after that performance, and we went back into the dressing room, the fact that I was able to graduate made me overcome with emotion. Well, not sure if, well, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So back in undergrad, I slowly developed depression over, I think it started probably in like junior year, or no, sophomore year. And then got worse in junior year, and then it was crippling in senior year. So at some point I had to take a medical withdrawal from school, so that I could recover my mental health. And then I was necessarily made to take off a semester. So fall semester, I was not able to come back. So then it was after that where I was able to come back in the spring, and I crushed the semester. Like, I don't know if any of you who end up listening to this have dealt with failure in your life, but having to withdraw from school for depression was definitely the lowest point of my life, even till now, and that was what, 5 years ago. Um, so then that's why I was really overcome with emotion by the end of the performance, because it was a really final strike to my heart that I finally made it. I was able to recover, and I was able to graduate with all A's. So at the same time that was a huge demotivator in the beginning, it became the motivation for me to really get myself going. And I cannot stress how much motivation that failure brought me. Now, I do know that like therapy isn't for everyone. Um, but even if you're not suffering from mental health problems, it's still potentially worth it to find some kind of therapy so that you don't end up in that state. You can eliminate the sources of those problems from the root before anything really terrible happens. And I've never been sure if my antidepressants actually worked. I think it's mostly the lifestyle changes that I made with my therapist that really improved my mental health. That and the fact that I did have a support system. I know that not everyone does. But one thing that I can say is that there are always going to be people, even strangers, who would be willing to help. So I know that we have things like Reddit's subreddit for things like suicide prevention. And the fact that people can be so supportive without knowing you is really, honestly, something not to take for granted. Although, since then, grad school stresses and lack of sun from COVID um, made me get depressive symptoms again. But that's life. Gotta deal with it. I am better at dealing with it now, although they still hit just as hard, and that's probably, yeah, still a difficulty. In which case, there's a saying: play the hand that you're dealt. A lot of the time, we don't get to choose our hand, but if you're able to make the most of it, there's a good chance that you'll succeed. On the other hand, don't assume that everything will ever go the way you want it to, because that's life. It's a simple fact of life. That's actually another thing that I want to touch on. It's like, for some reason, um, there's a lot of advice that people give to each other where there's like a saying that says the exact opposite. So like the one that just bothers me is like, things are not just going to come to you. You have to go get them. But then there's also patience is a virtue, or good things come to those who wait. It's like, Well, you're either flying one or the other. Whichever one that suits whatever narrative that you have is the one that you run with. So, shit. What's right? What is right? What is right? I wish I could kind of want to get some of the white gradient. Maybe I'll draw in a bit of white on the edges. So maybe I should have been checking the volume again. Okay, so it looks like within the past time, however long that this oh god, it's definitely still peaking. Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Testing. How did streamers deal with this? Jeez. Oh wait, they have better microphones than literally just using my laptop's built-in mic. Oh, this looks questionable. Oh, it's because I grabbed a yeah. Okay, there we go. It's because I grabbed a pretty light or pretty dark part of the drink, so. Oh yeah, and these lines would not exist inside the drink, so I should erase those too. So again, my roommate came back. Really great roommate. Oh, that's a nice effect. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be a bit better. Although I do have to fill it in again. Yeah. Oh no, what is this? If I remove the line art. Why is there still lines there? I just not erase well? Yep, I didn't erase well. You can still see a bit of the white spots in there though. So, I think there's one here. Okay, I'll roll with that. Yeah, my roommate is really nice. He buys a lot of stuff off of Amazon. So we have like a Roomba, which is really, really helpful. Because living in these apartments, the circulation wasn't that great, and it can easily get pretty dang dirty. So just the Roomba by itself already is a huge boon. And then we have, initially we had kind of like a just use your own things, but for us two, it's become a more Mikasa Sukasa living style, which is really, really pleasant. Because you can't always choose your roommate, which may or may not affect your quality of life. And I can say with absolute certainty that this roommate is great for my quality of life. Whether or not I'm a good quality of life for him is a different story. How did I get this color? Were they colored like this? Am I crazy? Huh. Okay. Well, I think this is fine for the straw. Okay. Let's get that. And then let's also make sure that this boba is not looking lopsided or sad. So talking a bit more about the guy I'm drawing this for, Brian. So for the movies that I mentioned earlier, Office Space and Shaun of the Dead. Originally, he was like tuckered out socially because he was working on his defense for his PhD, and he had a lot of stress built up. And by the end of it, he was kind of done with people, like not like done with the fact that they exist. He was just tuckered out socially. That's all. And so originally, when we said we wanted to watch a movie, he was against it, to say the least. I don't think he remembers it that well because he was probably just that tired, but he was against it. So the other guy and I, we were planning it out anyway. And then yesterday when I met with Brian, um, I mentioned it again. And he said, yeah, it's not my preferred kind of thing, but I'll still do it. I'll still watch the movies. And by gosh, he was tired out by the end of the two movies. It was around midnight already. He was getting tired. Plus, he doesn't drink, so, or he doesn't really drink much. He's high off of life. He doesn't need the self medication. Yeah, so he had a bit of wine, and he was very tired by the end. Oh, how do you, man. So on the day that he said he didn't really want to go watch a movie, um, that was the day that we went to get the Koushuichi, the Sichuan food, with someone else who was visiting, an alumni of the group. So then after we went to get the food, we went to a mall to get some ice cream because the person who visited was in the mood for it. Oh my goodness. He was already socially tired, but by the time that he was done eating that ice cream and we were walking around, you would swear that he was high. Like, I don't know if it was the sugar, tiredness, mental fatigue, whatever it was, but God, he was all over the place. He was like doing some of the dance moves from 17's Thanks in like the middle of the walkway, and there were a lot of people. Um, or like there's one of those fountains where there are these like little holes in the ground and water shoots out of them. So there was this little girl who was with her dad who was like playing around with them, and then Brian goes over too, and then he just waits there until one of them splashes him. And for whatever reason, the wait for that splash was it was long. So you just see this grown ass man just standing there waiting, waiting. It was dark too. It was very dark. And okay, yeah, that's the kind of mundane shit that entertains me nowadays. because I don't have anything else to entertain me other than watching YouTube. Or playing phone games. Oh wait. Oh shoot, I forgot to switch over to Taichi's new stream. Okay. Alrighty. So, oh, these lines are going to be hell. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, this is already off. Maybe not. I'll just deal with it. Okay. Oh, this is kind of thick towards the end too. Alright. Pray that this is good. Oh, do these only... Oh. I wish that shift could also do straight lines this way. Ooh boy. Okay, so the base would be around like here. So come out this way. Yeah. So I got the placement for this kind of right. It's another reason why I kind of want to just like almost talk into the void like this on the stream, because I don't know if other people have this kind of experience, but it's kind of difficult to make friends when everyone's just stuck in labs all day, or like, or if you didn't make any like clicks in your initial time at school. So it's been, in a way, kind of lonely here. Might have also been a contributor to the depressive symptoms, maybe. Not sure. Although yeah, I kind of probably just deal better with having people around. That's not what I wanted to do. And like in order to come to school, I had left all my friends and family. Like there was no one that I knew who was around this area, other than the people in my lab. Well, actually, technically, no, that's not the case. There was someone else. There's someone else who was in the same grade as, or same year as me in undergrad, who came here for grad school too. But I haven't really talked to her much. Yeah, so for the past like 3 or so years, I have not really seen any of my closer friends from before I came over here. Which I think for many is actually kind of fine. Like they would be able to deal with it, but not so much for me. Like it was definitely a risk coming here by myself. Whether mentally or, well, I guess just mentally. And I don't regret coming here for school, because I don't think I would have ended up with a better advisor than my current one. And I truly believe that. But hopefully I can make plans with some of them relatively soon. Yeah, planning to go back and visit my home state in less than a week by now. Yeah, it's exciting. But at the same time, I think like if I wanted to make plans, I have to be the one to reach out, and well, not just reach out, but to actually like come up with ideas. Because that's another thing about us, the millennials. We don't really plan well. activities with friends at least. Would this be stable? Well, oh well. Yep. Okay. Alright, I still have about 15 minutes or so before Brian will be done at the gym. Okay, there we go. Yeah, another thing that's sad is, well, maybe I shouldn't talk about so many sad things. Well, it's more funny than sad. So I'm a pretty big fan of anime and manga, and so when I see that like Anime Expo and stuff are coming up, that's great. I've only gone once, um, in 2013 or so. No, 2014. It was 2014. But I remember it being very fun. So I would have gone to one of them, but the one in my home state happened this past weekend, and then the one in LA happens right before I come back here. So tough noodles, tough noodles. At the same time, very funny because it's like perfectly like the weekend right before I go back to my home state, and then literally a few days before I come back here. Sad. Okay, so I think I may at least get most of the line art done for today, other than the plants, unless I like rush through it right now. But that means that next stream will be coloring. So I'll probably look into like some of the techniques that you actually need to use to do a good job at the coloring. Yeah, I think I get the leaves done in 12 minutes, right? Okay. Yeah, I think I can do it. I won't be able to get the roots, but at least the leaves is already good enough. Okay, let's get started on these. These leaves. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to remove these. Or maybe I'll just color it. Yeah, I'll just color them. Okay. Yeah, these leaves. The sketchiness is actually pretty decent looking at it now. Unfortunately, the line art is probably not going to turn out as well. Hmm. I do think I had to finish drawing this in this week though, because I don't actually know how fragile drawing tablets are. So I'd hate to have spent the money on this and having it break on the way back on the plane ride. Okay. So for my Japanese learning recently, I don't. It's been almost a week since I last streamed. Well, I say last stream, but first streamed. Um, so I don't know if I mentioned this, but hiragana and katakana are pretty easy if you have the right resource. Um, but then learning actual like terms, phrases, is really difficult. So I originally learned on Tofugu. Um, they have a learn hiragana and katakana guides. So what they use mnemonic devices, and those are where you like have associations with certain shapes or stuff to make memorization more easy to handle, make it easier to handle. And with that, I learned both of the writing systems in maybe like 3 hours or so, like initially. Not to say that I actually like mastered them, but like if you gave me a quiz, I'd probably be able to have answered all of them. It's actually almost like magic, um, how well the mnemonic devices work. Unfortunately, for actual like terminology, phrases, all that, mnemonic devices can pretty often not really help you. I mean, like in order to figure out meanings to words like ashita for tomorrow, which is also Ming in Chinese, like Mingtian, tomorrow. Um, having like sun and moon in the character, okay, yeah, a sun and moon, night and day, so that's like a full day. Um, the like meaning is easy to grasp, but the problem is actually knowing how to pronounce it and different like phrases to use them in, or like he, right? So there's the character for sun, he, which also means day, and when learning some of the terminology with that word in it, god damn, there's like 7, 8 different pronunciations that you can have, which I don't think like would be very natural for someone who like speaks Chinese, and at most a character will have 2 different readings to it. Is probably another thing though for people who learn Chinese. Uh, yeah, I think the only one that comes to the top of my head is this character. So this has 2 different. Oh, I wish I could probably write that a bit prettier. Yeah, that's prettier. So this character here, I don't know what the like radical is, so like the root meaning part of it or anything like that. All I know is that the top is the same as the top for the word for to learn, and then the bottom is like to meet. Jian. It's one of the characters used for like goodbye, let's meet again. But this has two different readings. There's Jue and Jiao. So this one would mean to like feel. 我觉得 means, or 我觉 the this means I feel that. And 觉 is used as part of to sleep. 睡觉. I don't think I remember. Oh god, I don't. Okay, I don't know about this part, but this would be 睡觉, which means to sleep. I feel like this could probably throw me off, but if I was learning it initially. But Japanese, geez. So the character I'm talking about is he, which is just this. This only, as far as I know, this only has one pronunciation in Chinese, which is 日. Oh. That's it. But for some reason, Japanese just has a ton of... Okay. OBS disconnected for a bit, so it should be back now. So Japanese kanji do have multiple readings in the first place. Some are more related to the original like Chinese pronunciation, and then there's also the like Japanese style pronunciations. So like, yeah, I feel like this character here, this is the ashita in Japanese, and then Ming in Chinese. And I'm pretty sure that other than ashita, there's probably a pronunciation that's closer to Ming. Okay. But those are the kinds of things that kind of throw me off while learning Japanese. Yeah. A nice thing about the days of the week in Japanese, though, is that all of the pronunciations for, like, if you don't know, the Japanese days of the week are based on, like, elements, as well as sun and moon. So, I don't know if you've seen, like, the 5-element triangle thing, or 5-element pentagram things. If you've seen like the original Yu-Gi-Oh, then you would have probably seen this for one of the games that Kaiba and Yugi played. What's the last one? Ooh. Oh, I think this is actually the correct order too. Is it? Oh no. I think it's this. Is it this way? Well, I'll just throw it out anyway. It's kind of like the circle of like things that are strong against each other. Fire can melt steel, steel can break wood, wood can grow into the earth, earth can like cover water or something, and then water can put out fire. So the days of the week are based on this, and then day and moon. So Sunday is literally the same Sunday. That would be Nichiobi. Nichiobi. Then you go to Monday, Moon Day, Getsuyobi. I hope it's Getsuyobi, or else I'm sad. And then after that is Kayobi. So Ka for fire. This would be Huo in Chinese. Although for some reason Ka makes sense to me for fire for Japanese. Maybe it's reading manga. Suyobi for Tuesday. And that's Shui in Chinese. This is why I'm not sure about the order too much, because next is wood, which is Mokuyobi. Or, sorry, so this is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Mokuyobi, and then in Chinese it would be Mu. Next is Kinyobi for Friday, Golden Day, Kinyobi. And in Chinese this would be Jing. Is it Jing or Jing? I think it's Jing. Might be wrong. There may or may not be a G here for the Chinese reading. And then Saturday is Doyobi. Do. And then in Chinese it's Tu. So we have Ka for Huo, Sui for Shui, Moku for Mu, King for Jing, and Do for Tu. Not sure about Getsu or Nichi, but the way that I remember Nichi is because of the show Nichijou, Everyday Life or Daily Life, or the guy version, Nichijou no whatever High School Boys is. Getsu in Chinese is Yue, like Yue from Avatar: Last Airbender. She turns into moon. I don't know where Getsu comes from. Okay, so that's my side. Yo, if you haven't read the original Yu-Gi-Oh, that shit is wild. Like the original stories in Yu-Gi-Oh before they had the like actual card game. They were like people getting their heads bitten off by the whatever the alligator god is called in Egyptian the ancient Egyptian religions. I think it started with an A. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Did the Yu-Gi-Oh manga come out before the card game? Because I feel like that would probably be the case. And then like when they brought in the card game, that part became the most profitable. The most exciting part of the franchise. of stories, and then I guess it just took off from there. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, but I still remember some of the original cards. Oh, sorry, some of the original games. Um, like one of them was where they had to get out of this like room where there were Tetris pieces falling on top of them, and so the gang they like drew like was it a circle? They like put their hands together, and then shoot, were there 5 of them or 4 of them? I only remember the English names. So there's Yugi, Taya, Joey, Tristan. Maybe it was just 4. So they drew a circle on their hands, and I'm pretty sure that became a Yu-Gi-Oh card afterwards called Unity. So I guess kind of like a shout out to their previous adventures. And I'm pretty sure it was like, yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh card game was introduced when Kaiba came in and was like, give me your cards, old man. And then like pushed Yugi's grandpa out of the way. Later came to freaking steal the cards from him. Like, what? Dude, seriously? The grandpa's an old man, and you're gonna like push him down for a card? Christ. He was even hospitalized, I'm pretty sure. Like, his grandpa was hospitalized because of that. I do also remember, like, Kaiba was, like, made to complete the Millennium Puzzle, or, like, this, like, circular puzzle to, like, heal his heart at some point when he lost the game to Yugi. And that was crazy. Crazy stuff. Oh, fudge. This is off. This shit is off. Okay. Let's hope that kind of fixes it. I might have to, yeah, I do think I do kind of have to owe a lot of my interest in manga to well, it's mostly my mom, honestly. Um, because my grandma was born in Japan, so a lot of the like stuff that she knew about became stuff that my mom would introduce me to. So like original Dragon Ball, we had the Chinese translated version in our house. Oh, you can see Sabo and Ostland down here. This is holy grail for quantum, like original like wave function method quantum. Uh, so they would have like a bunch of manga. When I originally watched Love Hina, that was actually like with my mom. Like we would sit down on the couch and we watched the first season together, and I guess we did not find anything awkward about that. But then later, she. Oh wait, no. We got those because my uncle would burn CDs with them on there with like English translations, and then like share it with my mom. But then at some point, I think it was like, oh, this one's too sexy or whatever, and then she was like, yeah, don't watch this. But it turns out that I had already gotten the CD when I saw it, that there was a new one, and I watched it. And I was like, whoop-de-doo. That's already happened, so keep quiet about it. Yeah, I can't imagine watching Love Hina with my mom now. Like, she's still chill with me. I'm more chill with her after, like, growing up and seeing her more as, like, just another person in my life than, like, a glorified parental figure in my life. Yeah, but I still can't imagine watching that. Okay, Brian's on his way. Um, the roots are probably going to be a lot more work for line art, so I'm going to hang up here. If any of you popped into the stream, or anyone who pops into see this video in the future, thanks for joining. Yeah, hopefully get some chats next time. I did get a chat on my first stream that I didn't notice because I didn't have my OBS open. I only have one monitor. So, starting from this stream, I'll have the chat open on my on my phone so I can keep track of it. Alright, well, that's it for the stream. I'll probably be back maybe like tomorrow even, because I do need to get this done by the end of the week. Alright, thanks.